Poverty. It's a word we hear a lot, but what does it really mean? It's more than just not having enough money, it's about struggling to afford basic necessities. Think food, shelter, and healthcare. That's absolute poverty. But poverty is also relative. It's about lacking opportunities compared to others in society. Imagine not being able to give your kids the same chances as their classmates. That's relative poverty. Poverty is complex. It's a web of interconnected issues. It affects individuals, families, and entire communities. It's a global challenge that demands our attention. Poverty isn't just about lacking material things, it's about lacking dignity, security, and hope. It's about being trapped in a cycle that's hard to break free from. Breaking this cycle requires more than just financial aid. It requires education, healthcare, and community support. It requires opportunities for growth and development. Together, we can create a world where everyone has a chance to thrive. Let's work towards a future free from poverty, where dignity, security, and hope are within everyone's reach. Let's talk about numbers for a second. Numbers can often seem abstract, but they tell a very real story. The scale of global poverty is staggering. It's a crisis that affects millions of lives every single day. According to the World Bank, in 2015, over 700 million people lived on less than $1.90 a day. That's a number that's hard to fathom. That's like trying to survive on what some people spend on their morning coffee. Imagine having to make that amount stretch for all your daily needs. And poverty isn't evenly distributed. It has a way of hitting certain regions much harder than others. It disproportionately affects developing countries, particularly in sub-Saharan Africa and South Asia. These areas face unique challenges that exacerbate poverty.
But let's not forget about poverty in wealthy nations. Even in the richest countries, there are pockets of severe deprivation. Millions in developed countries struggle to make ends meet. They face the daily stress of financial insecurity. These numbers are more than just statistics. They represent real people. People with hopes, dreams, and struggles. People who go to bed hungry, not knowing where their next meal will come from, lack access to clean water, a basic necessity that many of us take for granted, and can't afford basic healthcare. This means preventable diseases often go untreated, leading to further suffering. It's a global crisis that requires urgent action. We must come together to find sustainable solutions and make a difference.
Poverty isn't just about a lack of money. It's about social exclusion. It's about being marginalized and denied opportunities. Imagine not being able to access quality education or healthcare because of your income.
Poverty thrives in environments of discrimination. Places where people are treated differently based on their race, gender, or social background. These inequalities create barriers, making it harder for certain groups to escape poverty. Poverty also impacts culture and aspirations. When you're constantly struggling to survive, it's hard to dream big. It's hard to imagine a better future for yourself and your children. This can create a sense of hopelessness that's passed down through generations.
Now, there are a lot of misconceptions about poverty. These myths often cloud our understanding and prevent us from addressing the real issues. Some people believe that people are poor because they're lazy or don't want to work. This stereotype is harmful and misleading. This is simply not true. Many individuals living in poverty are some of the hardest working people you'll ever meet. They often hold down multiple low-paying jobs, working long hours just to make ends meet. Their determination and resilience are commendable.
Another myth is that poverty is a personal failing. This belief unfairly places the blame on individuals. But the truth is, poverty is often the result of systemic issues. These include inadequate infrastructure, failing healthcare systems, and lack of social support. Factors like lack of access to quality education, reliable healthcare, and stable job opportunities contribute significantly to the cycle of poverty. These barriers make it incredibly difficult for individuals to improve their circumstances. Blaming individuals for their poverty ignores the larger societal forces at play. It overlooks the systemic barriers that many face daily. It's like blaming a fish for drowning in a polluted river. The environment around them is what makes survival difficult. We need to address the root causes, not just the symptoms. By tackling systemic issues, we can create a more equitable society where everyone has the opportunity to thrive.
Section 5. The root of the problem: economic inequality. One of the biggest drivers of poverty is economic inequality. When wealth and income are concentrated in the hands of a few, it creates a system where the rich get richer and the poor get left behind.
Think about it like a game of Monopoly where one player starts with all the money and properties. It's pretty hard for the other players to catch up, right?
Economic inequality means that the playing field isn't level. It limits opportunities for those at the bottom while giving those at the top an unfair advantage. This creates a cycle of poverty that's difficult to break. Section 6. The system is rigged. How structures perpetuate poverty. The sad truth is, many systems are designed to keep poor people poor.
Take, for example, access to education. Children from low-income families often attend underfunded schools with fewer resources. This puts them at a disadvantage from the start.
Then there's the criminal justice system. In many countries, the poor are more likely to be incarcerated, often for non-violent offenses. This can lead to job loss, family separation, and further economic hardship.
These systems create barriers that make it incredibly difficult for people to break free from poverty. It's like trying to climb a ladder with missing rungs.
Section 7. The vicious cycle, how poverty begets poverty. Poverty is often described as a cycle. This is because it creates a chain reaction that's hard to escape.
Let's break it down. Imagine a child born into poverty. They might experience malnutrition, affecting their physical and cognitive development. This can lead to poor performance in school, limiting their future job prospects.
Without a good education, they're more likely to end up in low-paying jobs, perpetuating the cycle for their own children.
This cycle is a trap that can span generations. Breaking free requires addressing all aspects of the cycle: health, education, and economic opportunity.
Section 8. Breaking down barriers, education, healthcare, and opportunity.
So, how do we break this cycle? Education is key. Investing in quality early childhood education can level the playing field for children from low-income families. Access to affordable health care is also crucial. No one should have to choose between putting food on the table and seeing a doctor. We need systems that ensure everyone can access basic health care without financial ruin. Creating job opportunities that provide a living wage is essential. This means supporting policies that promote fair wages, job training programs, and access to entrepreneurship opportunities.
Section 9. The need for a safety net, social programs, and support systems.
But sometimes people need a little extra help. That's where social safety nets come in. These are programs designed to provide assistance to those in need, such as food stamps, housing subsidies, and unemployment benefits. These programs act as a safety net, catching people before they fall into deeper poverty. They provide a bridge during challenging times, allowing individuals and families to get back on their feet. Investing in social safety nets is not about handouts. It's about providing a hand up. It's about ensuring that everyone has a fighting chance to escape poverty.
Section 10. A global challenge, international cooperation and development.
Remember those global poverty statistics we talked about earlier? This isn't just a problem for individual countries to solve. It's a global challenge that requires international cooperation. Developed countries have a responsibility to support developing nations in their fight against poverty. This includes providing financial aid, promoting fair trade practices, and supporting sustainable development initiatives. We're all in this together. Addressing global poverty is not just about charity. It's about creating a more just and equitable world for everyone.
Section 11. Conclusion. A call to action. Poverty is a complex issue, but it's not insurmountable. We need to challenge our assumptions, confront systemic inequalities, and invest in solutions that address the root causes of poverty. This requires a multi-pronged approach, including economic empowerment, educational opportunities, accessible healthcare, social safety nets, and global cooperation. Ending poverty is not just a matter of policy, it's a matter of will. It's about recognizing the inherent dignity of every human being and creating a world where everyone has the opportunity to thrive. Are you in?